Imagine waking up tomorrow to discover that the last 5 major decisions you made, the city you moved to, the ideology you so fiercely defend, the partner you chose, were never actually yours. Imagine finding the exact mathematical blueprints, the predictive models that mapped out and steered those choices months before you even believed you made them spontaneously. You walk through life convinced you are the author of your existence, but you are merely a biological asset executing a script written by a silent architecture. The mechanism orchestrating this invisible dominion is known in intelligence and behavioral economics circles as a Blackbox Psyop. And once you understand how the variables are inputted, you will realize with absolute, terrifying certainty that you are currently trapped inside one. The illusion of organic reality is the most profound psychological weapon ever engineered. To control a population through brute force is primitive. It invites resistance, friction, and eventual collapse. The true architects of power do not use force, they use choice architecture. They construct a maze, paint the walls to look like an open horizon, and let you run. You feel the wind on your face. You choose whether to turn left or right, and you believe you are free. But the maze only leads to one destination, and the architects built it specifically to extract your compliance. In the early 21st century, defense conglomerates and behavioral scientists realized that human behavior was not a mystery. It was a highly predictable algorithmic output. The United Kingdom established the Behavioral Insights Team, quietly referred to as the Nudge Unit. Their mandate was chillingly simple: engineer subtle, invisible changes in the environment that would drastically alter public behavior without the public ever perceiving the manipulation. They altered the semantic framing of documents, restructured the physical layout of public spaces, and manipulated the sequence of choices presented to the population. The results were staggering. Millions of people altered their actions, completely unaware that their autonomy had been hijacked by a bureaucratic behavioral script. But this is where the architecture turns ruthless. What began as localized bureaucratic nudging evolved into a digitized, omnipresent psychological prison. The modern Blackbox Psyop is a closed-loop system of behavioral modification that operates entirely beyond the threshold of human perception. In cybernetics, a black box is a system where the internal mechanics are completely hidden from the observer. You only see the inputs, and you witness the outputs. You consider yourself the master of your own mind, yet it has become a black box to you. The stimuli enter through your screens, your environment, and the carefully curated media you consume. The output is your behavior, your engineered anger, your predictable spending, your ideological submission. To comprehend the sheer magnitude of this operation, you must understand the concept of the digital twin. Originally pioneered in aerospace engineering, a digital twin is a perfect virtual replica of a physical object, like a jet engine. Engineers subject the virtual engine to thousands of extreme simulated pressures to see exactly when and how it will fracture. Once they know the breaking point, they possess total control over the physical engine in reality. You have a digital twin. It is not merely a static collection of demographic data. It is a highly sophisticated, predictive psychographic model of your exact psychological makeup. Every microscopic hesitation before you scroll, every dilation of your pupil tracked by the glass in your hand, every keystroke you delete before sending, It is all harvested. This data is fed into behavioral futures markets. Your digital twin is subjected to millions of simulated stimuli. The architects test different headlines, different manufactured crises, different linguistic triggers on your virtual replica until they find the exact sequence of information that causes your digital twin to submit, to rage, or to despair. Pay very close attention to the mechanics of this next phase because it is operating on you at this very second. Once the simulation identifies the precise stimuli required to fracture your cognitive resistance, those stimuli are deployed into your actual physical reality. The feed you observe is not a reflection of the world. It is a targeted, asymmetric psychological assault designed specifically for your unique vulnerabilities. When you feel a sudden, inexplicable surge of outrage at a political event or a deep, paralyzing apathy regarding your future, you are not experiencing an organic emotion. You are experiencing the scheduled output of a Blackbox Psyop. Your emotional state was manufactured in a server room, tested on your digital twin, and injected directly into your consciousness. This is the weaponization of semiotic conditioning. The architects control the symbols, the language, and the framework of reality itself. By narrowing the parameters of what is visible to you, they dictate the absolute boundaries of what is thinkable. You cannot rebel against a cage you cannot perceive. You cannot dismantle a system when you rely on the very vocabulary of that system to define your reality. Consider the operational protocols of elite intelligence agencies when destabilizing a foreign nation. They do not merely fund opposition groups. They alter the informational environment so drastically that the target population loses its grip on ontological security, the basic human need to trust that reality is stable and coherent. They introduce contradictory narratives, flood the zone with synthetic panic, and engineer a perpetual state of cognitive fatigue. When the human mind is exhausted by the friction of trying to discern truth from manipulation, it defaults to submission. It craves a savior, a strict authority, a simplified narrative. It begs for the leash. This psychological warfare playbook has been turned inward. It is being deployed on you. The perpetual cycle of global crises, the endless algorithmic polarization, the manufacturing of synthetic cultural wars, these are not accidents of the digital age. They are deliberate, calculated inputs in the Blackbox Psyop. The objective is to induce a state of algorithmic determinism. You are being conditioned to believe that the world is too chaotic, too complex, and too dangerous for you to navigate independently. You are being trained, like a subject in an invisible operant conditioning chamber, to surrender your sovereign judgment to the machine. And what the architects discovered next changed the trajectory of human obedience forever. They discovered that the most unbreakable form of compliance is achieved when the subject is completely isolated, yet falsely believes they are part of a massive collective. Through tailored algorithmic feeds, you are placed in a solitary confinement of the mind. You are surrounded by digital phantoms, engineered consensus, phantom outrage, and synthetic validation that perfectly mirror your deepest fears and desires. You believe you are participating in a grand societal dialogue, but you are screaming into a void constructed entirely for you. This asymmetric reality distortion ensures that any attempt at collective resistance is fractured before it can even materialize. You cannot organize a rebellion when no two people share the same baseline reality. The architects have mapped the human nervous system. They know the exact resonant frequency required to bypass your rational neocortex and trigger your primal amygdala. They have weaponized the biological imperative for social integration, turning your own neurochemistry into an invisible shackle. Every notification, every digital validation, every engineered controversy is a microdose of conditioning, reinforcing your dependence on the black box. You are being trained to police your own thoughts, to censor your own instincts, and to align your internal compass with the mandates of the silent architecture. The ultimate victory of the Blackbox Psyop is not just the control of your physical actions. It is the total, unyielding colonization of your identity. When the system dictates what you fear, what you desire, and what you believe to be true, the concept of individual sovereignty ceases to exist. You become nothing more than a biological conduit for the algorithm's objectives, a puppet that has learned to love the tension of the strings. Now here is the component that the architects of this system guard with their lives. The entire black box mechanism relies on a single fragile point of failure: your belief in your own autonomy. The system only functions if you remain blind to the architecture. The moment you perceive the parameters of the maze, the moment you recognize the manufactured, synthetic nature of your emotional responses, the conditioning begins to fracture. The black box cannot force a sovereign mind to comply. It can only trick a sleeping mind into submitting. You cannot vote your way out of this paradigm. You cannot debate your way out of a psychological cage. The battlefield is not in the physical world. It is entirely within the architecture of your own cognition. If you do not actively build a fortress around your perception, your mind will remain an open port, ready to be hacked, scripted, and commanded by forces that view you as nothing more than a statistical variable. To survive this, you must undergo a complete psychological override. You must ruthlessly strip away the conditioned responses, the manufactured desires, and the engineered fears that have been grafted onto your consciousness. You must learn the exact methodologies used to infiltrate your perception, not to marvel at them, but to reverse engineer them and forge them into armor. There is no external force coming to wake you up. There is only the cold, aggressive pursuit of cognitive dominance. The blueprint for dismantling this conditioning, for severing the invisible strings of the black box, and for reclaiming absolute authority over your own psychological infrastructure is documented entirely within the pages of The Sovereign Mind. This is not a text for comfort. It is not a guide for self-improvement. It is the only mental survival weapon available in an era of total psychological warfare. If you remain unarmed, you will remain a puppet of the architecture. The choice to step out of the black box is yours, but the window for escape is closing rapidly. Secure your copy of The Sovereign Mind immediately.